Welcome to another Matthumanpizza video. In this video we're going to be removing the intake manifold. So it's back there on that side. The exhaust manifold is underneath here on the front side. The front side. The intake is right there, and there's a bunch of fasteners. They're 10mm, and they're right there, there, and then two over here, and then a couple of them underneath. And I've been using a deep socket 10mm, and then a 10mm regular socket, and a 13mm deep socket to get this small mount that's over there, over yonder, on that side. Once I take it apart, I'll show you exactly where the holes are for the fasteners. So without further ado, remove all the air intake crap and took the fuel rail off. And drain the fuel and just do what you gotta do to get to it. I'm removing everything on this engine, so stick a bunch of pans underneath the car and collect all the fluids and dispose of them properly and just have a great old time. So I hope you learned something from this, so let's get to it. Let's do it. Here's a shot of the 13mm deep socket, and I got the extension, 6-inch extension on it. So you gotta take this mount off right here. So there's two fasteners, one on the top, one on the bottom. Here's a 13mm wrench down on a socket down there, and I have a 14mm attached to it. And I've been you hit that with a hammer, hit with a hammer, and it's great. There you go. Got some birds in the background. There you go. It's loosening. And then adjust as needed. There's a tip. Now let's take this thing off. Eventually I'll get to taking that off, but if you drop crap, you need a long magnet. So just use a magnet to get the crap out. Alright, that last fastener is pretty hard to get to. It's on the lower part of the intake manifold. We got a 10-inch extension, 3/8" drive, and it's just really tough to get to, maneuver to, but it's doable. I've lost a couple wrenches and a screwdriver down in the hole into the abyss. They're on the ground, but anyway, we'll get to them eventually. So let's get down there. I'm trying to get this off, this part back here that's attached to the manifold. But here's the Torx, and it's the only way I can get to the wrench. This with that on there, it doesn't fit back there in the firewall, so I put this on the fastener, and then I use a pair of pliers and turn it. So I'm doing that back here. I don't know if I can get this in the camera or not, but it's way back here. So put it on there just like so, and you turn it, and it's loosening. It's just taking forever. So you just loosen it that way. There, I'll show you what it looks like. There's the fastener, there's the Torx bit, and then there's the pair of pliers. I got it just barely holding on there vicariously just to get this video shot for you guys. And you just turn that counterclockwise as you would any other. There's some crap in the way. Can't really get the intake manifold off unless I can take off the belt and get the alternator out of the way. I gotta find the tension pulley. Here's a diagram. I got a video on it, but there's a tensioner right beside the alternator. There's a diagram, and the alternator's there, and it's down there, the tensioner. So I'm gonna untension it, get the belt off, and then take the alternator out, and hopefully then we can take the manifold off. Alright, that freed up some room. I took the belt off, and I got the alternator out. That sucker is heavy. Oh, man. That thing weighs about 100 pounds. Alright, after you get all these fasteners off, there's a bunch of them. There's a stud that looks like this. Just like so. I use this because there's no clearance whatsoever. no clearance whatsoever, so I use that to barely go back and forth and get this stupid stud off so I can get the remaining. That stud, by the way, was right. It went into that hole right there, which was down here, sticking out of the back of the engine. So once I got that off, then now we're able to pull this whole intake manifold out. So there it is, all its glory. Let's stick it up here. There we go. Take a picture of it. Alright, there it is. Alright, to remove that intake manifold, you take the air plenum, air assembly, and all that crap off, and then you take the you take the throttle plate, and the whole throttle assembly. I took it out, and then you take a bunch of wires, plugs off, and I took the top of the engine, just the cover. Took that off, and then I drained a bunch of fluid and disconnect the battery and waited a while. I had to take the alternator out to get clearance. I took the cover off, the timing belt assembly, and I took the to get the alternator belt off, you take off the serpentine belt, and then take a bunch of stuff off to get access to all the fasteners that hold this beast in there. And then once you get all the things unplugged, you take it out and you just have a good old time. And the intake manifold on this vehicle is very difficult compared to the exhaust manifold. So I hope you learned something, and that's all I want to do for this video. So the rest of it's just going to be bonus of taking some parts off this intake manifold. So have a great day, shall you? Just have a wonderful day. Alright, here's some bonus video. So this is part of the intake manifold. It's this metal piece. I moved this back and forth, and I was able to get this fastener, get it loose. It's 8mm. So I get this. Got gloves on today, so I keep my hands all nice and semi-clean. Stick that over there, and get the rest of this 8mm fastener off here. So 1 and 2. Take both those off there, and then this piece should come off. Alright, got those 2 fasteners off. Now I just pull that out, and it looks like so. Wow, isn't that amazing? So, toss that over there.